Salem'S Lot is my very first Stephen King novel. Inspired by Bram Stoker's Dracula, it concerns writer Ben Mears, who returns to the isolated town of Jerusalem's Lot, or Salem's Lot, where he lived during his youth, in order to write a new book and overcome certain childhood traumas. He befriends a high school teacher named Matt and stirs up a relationship with a young college graduate, Susan. Through a series of odd events, mostly circulating around the creepy Marston house, once unoccupied but now inhabited by the enigmatic Barlow and his boldy accomplice Straker, Ben realizes that the lot has become home to the deadly creatures of the night, the undead sacrilegious cancer, the bringers of terror and dread, vampires. One of the very first things that struck me about the novel was how much of the first half or so really just covers the lives of the lot's inhabitants. Often mundane, but sprinkled in with the odd spout of unorthodox occurrences. I was getting real vibes of Federico Fellini's Amarcord, in that it really feels like a collection of random short stories, some intertwined, of random people set in a small town. You feel like a fly on the wall of these little stories, from the bus driver who hates the school children, the young mother who's unable to cope with having a small child and beats him, the affair occurring between the young telephone company worker and older woman. It's all really engrossing, and though at times King does tend to go on a bit, there is so much detail in everyone's stories, so much thought put into how they think and how they feel. It's a mesmerizing achievement from King that he created a fully breathing town, residents included. I suppose that's part of the setup too, what with all the vampire hullabaloo not really kicking off until the last third quarter or so. Now at this stage, at the end, we get to see how each character who we've spent so much time with is affected and how they react to the spreading of the vampires. Who will leave, who will run, who will fight, and who will do nothing and feign that everything is well in the town. And then there's the added fright, or delight, depending on how you want to describe it, of spending time with many different characters and then all of a sudden numerous of them can be executed within the span of a few paragraphs. Though masterfully told, the lives of the townsfolk isn't too interesting, and you're left wondering halfway through whether it was worth picking up a book about 600 pages long that spends a great many paragraphs describing things like the wind. But then it all kicks off at the end, and the final few chapters scream past at a blistering pace. Again, this is just the first book from King I've read, but it's already sold me on a lot of his work. If this is just one of his many novels, a work that could easily be considered someone else's magnum opus, then I'm in for a treat when I explore his works further. There were also two short stories accompanying the main one a prequel and one a sequel of Salem's Lot. They add a lot to the creepy lore of the vampires and the town's history. Salem's Lot is a fine read. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.